Well, it's Monday. It's Monday at 11 here in Maui, Hawaii. Aloha, everyone. We're in the neutral zone. Welcome to the show. My name is Jason Schwartz. I'm your host here at the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. You can find us on Akaku Maui Community Media, akaku.org, and look for the Neutral Zone. You can also go to YouTube and put in at Dream Maui and the number 1. You'll find the show. We've been doing shows a long time. You'll also, of course, we are at 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui on your radio dial. We are pretty much a line of sight station, meaning somewhere way out there we don't get heard. But here in the central Maui we get heard, and we're so glad to be around the world. Thank you, Internet, for providing us, because not only are we current, but we have a library of really interesting people, and we are not stopping today. We have a very interesting and exciting artist here today. And you described yourself, Jeanne Bitz, as an activist artist, and I saw that in your stuff. Activist artist, huh?
Yeah, I think it's definitely needed right now.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I met you, like you say, we've seen each other and said hello over time, but never knew who each other was, huh? Well, this is not my normal position. I am now a realtor again, MauiCoastProperty.com. Which I say they're one of the sponsors of our show. That's because they sponsor me. That's me.
They keep you in a house and food. And
I'm now having a process that all my commissions, 60% of them, the max I can give, is going to go into supporting art and music and culture, doing shows in music and in art, and really bringing up our local economy. You know, I mean, realtor commissions, they used to be sort of normal, but now as the prices are going through the roof, every commission is big enough that we can scrape off a lot and try to put it back in and help Maui rebuild. You know, that Lahaina wildfire, now a year and a half ago, is still causing issues here. I mean, this morning I saw, but we're not talking art yet, but it's going to build right into it.
Yeah.
They don't have enough water on the west side. And because of that, the new housing development plans are going to be slowed up and halted right now. Wow. So not only are we recuperating from a major event that wiped out Lahaina pretty much, that was on a course, who knows how long it would take to rebuild, but we're an island and we have all kinds of problems, and one of those is water. John Kinamaka sat in this seat. Not only a great musician and a very dynamic and interesting, he's a guy on this, he's a very dynamic Hawaiian leader. And I didn't even talk about music. We were talking about what was going on after the fire. So I owe him another ride in this seat. We're going to play his music. But when I spoke to him and I said, look, I'm open to speaking to really good people. And he mentioned Alicia. And then Alicia had a schedule challenge, and I said to her, I thought, one good chain deserves another. Who do you know that's really interesting and dynamic and has a lot to say? And up she came with Jeanne Bitz. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So when I think activist artist, by the way, I talk a lot, by the way, so jump in.
You're in the right place for that, I think.
Because sometimes I don't have a guest. I talk for an hour. I put the engineer asleep. That's what happens, I think. But seriously, how do you know all this? How did you get involved in all this?
I met Alicia through Kimokeo and Kapahulehua, who does a lot of work on the island and in the world. Yeah. And I taught an art as activism class through that. She was holding a symposium with a group of students and asked me to be one of the speakers.
Great.
Yeah, and I got into art as activism because I was born into a very destructive, abusive environment, and I got out, and in trying to heal, art was one of the main things that I found that helped me to heal, and I had an artist tell me to paint what I knew, and I thought nobody's going to want to see that. So I started thinking about that. I mean, there's paintings and art that shows domestic violence, and nobody wants to look at them. Or they look at them and they think, well, that's not me. So I decided to make art that was beautiful enough to draw people in and hopefully do two things. People that are perpetuating that could recognize it and recognize maybe the pain that they're causing. And people who have carried the guilt of what's been done to them could maybe release that and recognize that they're not alone. So I've had Art in Manhattan Art International's Her Story show, and I had a piece that was part of a 6-word memoir, Born in Violence, Breaking Forced Silence. It's one of the paintings that I sent you.
Yeah.
And
Is that the one with the little girl sitting between two other women? Is that the one you mean?
Yeah.
You guys are going to like these. I'm going to be showing them as we're in the middle of the... You'll see it on reruns. On the radio, it's a bit tough to see. But you described it pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
it's the 3 generations of women shutting up women in domestic violence, because when we start to own our power, it's important, I think, to stop that chain.
do you think it would be interesting to go through some of them? Or I guess we can do them as we're going along here. I'm just going to quickly look for my email that I got from you.
There's definitely a progression for me in those pieces that I sent you,
Yeah?
even if I didn't send them to you in chronological order.
Let me just quickly... Here you are, Jeanne Bitz. When I opened this, I thought, wow, that first one, you guys really, you can't see it. It's so small.
I can tell you which ones are first. So Toxic Environment, she's wearing a mask, a gas mask.
The close one. Ooh.
Yeah. So, that's Modern Girls Accessories. There's another gas mask.
Oh, the one with more than this one.
Yeah. So that one I saw in a dream, and it was a bunch of people who were people that had been abusers in my childhood. And I was bringing my art to them for an art show, and everybody else was bringing their art and was okay with it. And I'll tell the shortened version of events. Okay. They were blasting the art and destroying it, and
calling that art.
Well, the people who were abusers were destroying the art that was being brought to them in my dream. Oh. And this is one of the pieces that I saw finished that I had taken to them, and I woke up and I asked my daughter if she would pose for that. And she was all for it. I said, there's kind of a little bit more negativity tied to this one than I'm used to painting, but it was my story, and I started painting it. And the roses are the pattern that my grandmother had on her tea sets that she never used because they were on the shelf. And they were also symbolized for me the ideal of womanhood that I was taught, that I was fed growing up, that was really toxic and didn't serve me well as a human being on this planet. So they kind of feature in that. And her gas mask doesn't have a canister on it because the poison of what we're taught to be, even though she's wearing the right clothes, she's got her knees together, she's doing all the things to be a good girl.
Proper.
Yeah, it's not doing her any good.
Wow.
And then the next
one. Very
one.
striking. Next one?
The next one is in the library, The Stories We Can't Tell. And the way that one is set up, these are all life-size pieces, and the wall goes in and over and back, perspective-wise, because it's endless.
Yeah.
The stories, the things we're told to not talk about. And my dad used to tape my mouth shut when I was a little girl, so I didn't come by any of this stuff out of my imagination.
Wow.
I was born that women are to be seen and not heard, and pregnant, barefoot and pregnant. Like, that's the things that I was told.
Where in the country were you?
Most of my life was in rural Alaska and rural Oregon.
Okay. I wonder if I guess it is pretty well an example of everywhere, isn't it?
Yes. And the thing is, I mean, these are our neighbors. This is the environment that I was raised in. And these are the people that are really supporting our current political environment. So that's why I think art is activism. I mean, those pieces go through a progression of my experience, telling my story. And that's why Ayala A, the next piece is You Be a Good Girl. The name of it is You Be a Good Girl, but the words in it are Born in Violence, Breaking Forced Silence. And then Ayala A is the next piece after that.
Which one?
The canoe paddling into the sun,
the
sun rising. Yeah, that's Kimokeo steering that canoe. My daughter's in seat 2, and Anella, who runs HOCVS, Hawaiian Outrigger Voyage and Canoe Society, is in there. And I was invited to learn the Hawaiian culture, and it was by far the most life-changing experience I've ever had. Because there's a oneness with nature. There's just so many things about it that were so healing.
Yeah, I think that we who live here, after a while, we realize just how rich our host culture is.
Without a doubt.
And how it really should be given an opportunity to be present in a world and kind of lead by a different kind of an attitude.
Without a doubt. I think a lot of what we're experiencing in our country right now is just domestic violence on a grand scale, and what's been done to our native cultures is domestic violence on a grand scale. And so that's why I make this art to speak to, like, we need the balance between the masculine and the feminine. We need to become a whole culture that doesn't try to destroy the feminine within ourselves, and to celebrate that balance. And I think that our native cultures hold the wisdom that we need to heal.
I'm with you. Boy. Well, I think that's really very, what do we say? Lofty of you, and do you sell them, or you have prints of them?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I do. I'm in galleries. I'm in Viewpoints Gallery in Makawao. They really, they make videos of the importance, because I put, that painting there, Eala A, I tried to capture the magic of what I had learned in the Hawaiian culture, because I'm a classically trained artist, and that was a complete departure from what I had been trained, to try to capture the magic of the Hawaiian culture and the healing and the oneness with nature that's available in that. And so, yeah, these pieces, I sell them. Viewpoints Gallery in Makawao really supports that exploration and telling the full story. So, and I'm also in Maui Hands in Wailea and Turnbull in Kahakaloa, and I'm opening a studio in Wailuku.
Wow.
I'm getting my own actual studio for the first time ever. Yeah.
Are you going to be where on the street?
I'm on kind of the corner of Market and Main, right across from Native Intelligence. It's called Hallowed Home in front, but my studio is going to be my little cave in back where I can have control.
So you know Taryn and Jessica.
Yes, I'm really good friends with Taryn. She's one of my favorite people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, she was here.
What?
When was it? I think it was beginning, when they were starting that thing at the Royal Lahaina, which I don't know where it's going. We should check back in.
Yeah.
Still going on?
I don't know, because I had to move, because of chaos in the market here and stuff.
Congratulations on having a studio. That's great.
Yeah.
Good. See that? You guys, Wailuku is waking up, when Lahaina suddenly was off the map, if you will. I always thought about a gallery without walls online forever. IRS thought it was a great idea. And they audited me a couple of times, but no one ever bought anything online. I was so far behind. We always say we're ahead of our time, and then suddenly 20 years pass, and they say, oh, yeah, you're right with what's happening. And you're like, wait, I've been trying to hold this door open.
Yeah.
Just like what you're talking is not a new subject.
No.
It's not a new subject. It's like, hey, how about it? Is it time now?
I think in my experience, because of how I was raised and what I saw when I started to actually see, because I was raised in the type of blindness that is the toxicity in our environment right now. And as I started to peel away those layers and see what there was, nobody would listen. Nobody wanted to hear. And I think that's been common in our country right now. And I think that one thing that's happening that's good is people are seeing. They can't ignore right now.
Yeah, it's getting to be, I don't know what it's getting to be. We'll all find out together. But the whole world is like, I don't want to say up in arms, but up in arms.
Yeah.
This group is shaping our world in a way that makes certain outcomes inevitable, and none of them are good.
Yeah.
None of them are good.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Believe it or not, I just this morning saw the old Secretary of the Treasury, head of the Federal Reserve. What was Janet Yellen? See, you don't know.
No.
Something in there. But she's my father's cousin. So, God knows. I haven't seen her since she was 8. And she was ahead of me. I was like a little guy then, maybe a few years behind. But she's talking about how this is like one of the worst deliveries of ideas in economics that could ever be. And here we are, and every day, I'm sure I'm going to see some stuff coming out from you. We don't know how it's going to show yet. You have beautiful stuff. I mean,
thank you.
Not only do they give a message, how about Me Ke Aloha Pumehana?
So that one is with the greatest love of all is the translation. And that's something that I learned paddling with Hawaiian Outrigger Voyaging Canoe Society. For me, in my journey, these paintings teach me. I love that quote. I think it's by Maya Angelou, but I'm not sure. Write the book you need to read. And so I try to paint the painting that I need to see. And this one is all about the journey to inner love and what I was talking about with the masculine and the feminine being in balance within ourselves, within our culture. And so I don't know a lot about the chakras, and I don't know a lot about yin and yang, but I started to explore them and find the similarities between what I found in the Hawaiian culture. And so in them, in the people in that painting, the chakras are put in their positions, and the weave of all of those symbols are oceanic symbols that have to do with the yin and yang energy of each chakra. And the chakras are, for me, in my limited experience, kind of a roadmap to self-discovery and the unfolding.
I think so, yeah.
And I think that we can't give love to other people until we have that in ourselves.
We all have it, by the way. I'd like to share that because many times we see representations in our world that don't look like love. Either it's love or a need for love.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we have to stroke Donald Trump lightly. Did you see he just wants to put penalties on CBS and 60 Minutes and all this stuff because they don't agree with him and they are disagreeing with him?
And he just decided that a bunch of legal immigrants are dead to stop paying them. It's just
very, very odd.
Yeah.
Why aren't they returning someone they took inappropriately to El Salvador back home?
Yeah.
And who's agreeing with
this
that?
Person,
that's right.
This person who can stop the Ukraine war 8 days after, 6 days after he becomes president, can't bring one person back.
We have Donald Trump is something that I don't really know. I can't even in my head get it through my head.
When he first became president, I told my kids that he is just the face of the hate and fear-fueled infection in our country. From my experience, what I grew up in, he is only able to take that position because there's a large portion of our population that is still driven by a hate and fear-fueled decision-making life. I don't think that he could hold that position if there weren't a lot of people who were still completely driven by that.
And I think that he was playing with that kind of a group and egging them on.
But I don't think he represents them. I don't think he represents anything but his own
Jack
interests.
Smith, guy was trying to prosecute Trump about the January 9th. I don't remember what day it was.
6th.
January 6th. That he paid for their hotel rooms and food and what the heck.
Yeah.
I don't know those people.
Yeah.
Now we know we have a liar sitting right there. Can we do nothing about it?
Yeah.
We can represent in art and in music.
Yeah.
And we hope that people of all ages will wake up.
Yeah.
As their worlds are shifting. Things are shifting already.
Without a
so
doubt.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
Economists are figuring in a couple of weeks we'll be in recession to the level of things that none of us really know what to do.
No.
In the whole world.
Yeah.
It's shifting everything.
Yeah.
That's why what you do is so important. People bring in, they will look at a piece of art and get more out of it than hearing someone talking about it. They can hear me talking for an hour. They can hear you say, look at this.
Everything that we do, the words that you say that have those conversations, making space for people to have these conversations, those are crucial right now. I think they always have been. Everybody who's been holding the door, like you said, that's crucial now for us to be able to, for all artists, musicians, and everybody who can visualize the future we want to be living in, to be making that art, to be having those conversations, to be making that music, to every way we can. Our every moment is an opportunity to live artistically and build the future that we want to see. So now we need to we can see the problems. We can see the things that have been underlying, that have been covered up by people not wanting to be shaken out of their comfort zone. But everybody's uncomfortable now. Now we build.
Yeah, I like that. But sometimes people say to me, why do you talk about things that are negative when we want to be positive? I almost feel like unless you can see it,
yeah,
you don't really know where you're going.
You don't go to the doctor and say, "Don't tell me I'm sick," when you're sick and dying, and you go to the doctor to get better.
Right, absolutely. Wow. So, what you mentioned, you're a trained artist. You've been doing this a long time, pretty long.
Yeah, and
you look so young, but when you
I'm
said
50.
you had adult
I'm 50.
Wow. What a young 50, right? I can't believe I'm 25 years older than 24 years. Whew. The years keep going by, and I can't say the issues have really changed much. I thought we were really coming to a new level when we had a black man for president. I thought, okay, prejudice is going to go away. We're going to start to really accept each other. And boy, that didn't happen at all.
Well, no, because people who were thinking and their entire lives, like they wanted to remain cloaked in that ignorance, they got shaken up because it's not fun to peel away that ignorance, And so, yeah, we had an amazing president. But now there's that infectious thinking that's been present in our country. And so I'm hoping that it's just like an infection and that it's burst open and now we can heal it. Now we can.
I sure hope so myself. Let's go back and, do you mind? I'm enjoying looking at your pieces here. You guys, I hope you remember Viewpoints, a new gallery soon in Waiuku. When do you think?
I'm already open. I worked in it for the first time yesterday.
Ooh.
I'm working on a piece right now. If anybody wants to stop by, that's all about friendship and those friends that I've had that when I was facing all sorts of different things, you can have friends who will support the bad habits in you and encourage that. But this piece is all about those friends that no matter what, you can lean on them. So.
Well, I'm coming by. Yeah,
okay.
So you're working in your own studio.
Yeah.
That's a great thing when people want to come in and see an artist. That's probably the highest way I always see it delivered.
For me, I think it's also important right now to be doing that because I think I like to work in my studio and with my noise-canceling headphones on and not talk to people, including my children. They've learned how to deal with that. Are you bleeding? No? Okay, then mommy's got to paint. So my third kid's first words were, gotta paint. Gotta paint. I didn't know what she was saying. Oh, I felt so bad.
Is that right? That was his first
her first words, yeah. So, but now I think that it's really important to be out there and for people, for everybody has the potential to create visions of what's next. It's important to be banding community together.
Well, I applaud you.
Thank you.
I applaud you. And I'm glad that you're a shining example. We lead by example.
I try.
Right?
Yeah.
Can they find you online?
I have JeanneBitz.com.
Oh, that was easy to find. Okay.
I should update it too. I do. I like 3 months ago I put new paintings up.
Oh yeah, but we're going to help with that update. I'm just looking at these. There's so many beautiful. They're beautiful and they're statements in that same breath. I'm looking and I'm seeing.
There's so many times
what
those
about
pieces.
This one?
That one is Hina. So that one, again, paddling with Kimokeo and Anella, we were out paddling and I was in seat 5 because I was a newbie. We're paddling. The steersman always points directly into the full moon when it's available. And I saw the arms when, people working together, people working in unison in the canoe, their arms were just pistoning in this beautiful, like they were caressing the moon. And so I told them I wanted to paint that and asked them if they could let me have a photo shoot to do that. And Kimokeo said yes, but there's a deeper meaning there, and you need to keep digging until you find it. And so I kept digging, and he kept asking me when I'd show up to paddle, do you have it yet? And I'm like in paddle mode, not in painting mode. They're two different experiences for me. And I tried to say to him, and he's like, keep digging, you're almost there. And so I kept digging and kept researching and kept learning about Hina and the stories of Hina, the moon goddess, all over the oceanic cultures. And they change from area to area, the stories of the deities. But they're all, my little neck hairs go crazy. I just love this because their deities are their ways of telling stories about their experiences of being at one with nature. And that, to me, coming from an environment where we own nature and we take what we want. Well, you don't do that in the Hawaiian culture. You ask permission in so many different ways, and you are at one with nature. And to me, that's not what I was raised with. And so in this piece, learning about Hina, the moon goddess, something that was across the board part of all the stories in from Tahiti to Tonga to Hawaii to the Maui cultures. So it was a domestic violence story. She was in a marriage that was abusive, and in some of them, her sons were different kinds of bad or not great, and because of she was a kapa pounder, and she was the most celebrated kapa pounder in the village, and made the most beautiful patterns and the softest.
Say that one slower. What kind of pounder?
Kapa, tapa. It's
Taro?
The cloth that they made the clothing out of.
Cloth. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, in some places it's kapa, in some places it's the tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's the
cloth
that they take something natural and are doing something to it to turn it into
make it into really soft fabric. And they put beautiful symbols that also had meaning on it to tell story.
I never knew what tapa cloth or kapa cloth was.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful. So that's what she did, and. She wasn't happy, and I think it was Anuenue, the rainbow goddess who brought her the rainbow, and her first try to leave her situation that wasn't good was she went to the sun, but she got burned. And she came back and was still miserable and prayed. And the rainbow goddess brought another rainbow, and this time took her to the moon. But when she was trying to go, her husband dragged her back and broke her leg, and she still managed to leave and ascended to the moon to become the master kapa artisan, and also master of the tides and the winds, and like a protector and a destroyer. When people are being evil or doing bad things, she would come in. And I think that's something that I've had to face as an artist. I mean, I think about my footprint on this planet and my place in the environment. And as an artist, I feel like it's pretty bold to be destroying, like adding to the whatever responsibility we have in our environment. I feel responsible in creating my art to be making art that is worthy of the destruction, that is wrought in the linen that's gathered, the cotton that's gathered, the natural resources that go into making my art. I feel like there's a responsibility, and I think that story is told in the Hawaiian culture when they ask permission. So that was all things that were common in Hina's story. Some of them, she just went on an adventure with her brother, and he got off at one island, and she's like, the moon right there, it's at the horizon. She sailed, kept on sailing, and walked off onto the moon and just became the goddess of the moon. So there's all these different stories that are told. And in that painting, the 30-day Hawaiian moon calendar is depicted in there, and every thread that crosses it is a symbol that tells the story of what's important to that day in the Hawaiian moon calendar. And the piece is 8 feet tall. And it's broken up into 3 equal sections to represent what's important to those 3 days the air, the earth, and the water. And a lot of people are afraid of the dark and afraid of the introspection. And that's where Make Aloha Pumihana, with the greatest love of all, the journey to inner love and to self-love and inner knowledge. And Po is the dark, and that is the bottom third, the depths of the ocean, the new moon. So at the very bottom of the painting, the new moon is down there, because that symbolizes going within and seeking the being willing to face the things inside of us, the darkness, and being willing to learn ourselves. And that's where we can find healing, and where we can find love, and where we can find that path and that ascension.
And how do I say this? I find it really enriching. Sometimes they say, an artist puts up a painting and they want you to make an interpretation. But the words that you speak are a great foundation for looking. I hope that somehow the message is delivered with the piece.
It is, right? Yeah.
It's great.
The galleries put the story with it, because I think that's important for me, for the gift that I've been given to be invited to participate in the most healing experience in my life. I feel like it's important to be telling that story with these pieces, to be inviting people in to have that experience. And part of the foundation, the design behind these pieces, is something that I learned in the hula that I was taught to go with the cultural paddling at HOCVS. And so when we're the poetry, the Hawaiian poetry is simple and nature-based in its structure, but the more time you spend with it, the deeper meaning, the deeper connection there is with nature. And it's the same with the hula. There's simple movements, and if you can look at it and you can think it's pretty, and a lot of people will come here and they'll go to one luau and they'll think, wow, that was really pretty, and they'll never know the amazing experience that you can have if you learn more, if you spend more time with it, just like with nature. So that's with these pieces. People look at them and they're beautiful, but there's a lot of intriguing stuff in there that you don't see in any other kind of painting.
Unless someone leads you to it, like you do. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to have had you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're most welcome. This is the Neutral Zone, and I talk politics when it's appropriate, but I want to make the world a better place. And like you say, I like showing really powerful, positive spirits that do it all. And you do it all. You point out the negative, but you create the beauty, and you create a future of thoughtful people. I hope that this is really helpful in sharing this concept far and wide. All you guys, especially you guys that aren't on Maui, keep sharing this thing. Keep getting it around. That's the best part about what we do.
Yeah.
That we can share this goodness, because we're a little Maui, and that little bit that you think you're doing that's almost nothing is really a big deal for us.
That's something I've been hearing a lot of people talking about. Every person in their neighborhood has things that they can do in their community to build the future they want to be, and all of that together builds something beautiful.
And, I always talk about we want Maui to be an example to the world, just like you're doing. You're a great example. Like, I'm developing the website right now. You won't see the art and music section really developed yet. I switched platforms, so I'm redoing. But I hope you will join us up there. I'll take some pieces and showcase them.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit of story, lead them to your website, and see what happens there.
I would love to.
Good.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had kids and you're 50. These are mostly adult kids?
Well, technically they're all adult kids, because my youngest just turned 18.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Are they here on Maui? Are they gone?
Yes, they're all here on Maui.
Here on Maui. What a gift that is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I left a 20-year abusive marriage, and I got out with my freedom, and I brought my 4 kids. Maui just opened to us. It was not on the list of places we were looking at moving to, but everything opened for us to be here.
Wow.
So, yeah. My middle daughter loves cooking Japanese food, and she's opening a food truck soon, right across the road from here.
Oh, good.
Called Anda Dogs. She's an amazing chef. And yeah.
One more time, it's going to be called
Underdogs, like underdogs, but underdoggy. I'm probably pronouncing that really wrong, but it's a Japanese donut dough. So, yeah, it's like
so it's
Japanese
going to be a
comfort
unique
food.
product that everyone is going to suddenly catch on.
Well, I think it's not unique to the Japanese culture.
No, but here on Maui, it's got to be.
There's nobody else doing this that I'm aware of, except that I heard my dentist, who's Japanese, said that they used to do it's kind of like Boy Scouts at the fair, and they had the corn. It's like a corn dog, but Japanese style.
Oh, okay. I hope everyone out there is ready to come to this food truck across the way.
Oh, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. She's like, Mom, we're doing a soft opening. Don't tell anybody.
Oh, we're not telling anyone.
But I'm so proud of her.
Well, we hope that this will be played so many times you'll be open by the time they're going to see this. Maybe. We'll see. A soft opening. I don't want to say when soon is, but that's great.
Yeah.
So, and she's your youngest daughter, middle daughter?
Middle. Yeah.
And who's the oldest one?
Samantha.
3 ladies you have.
I do. Well,
Wow.
so, I hope I don't get in trouble for this either. But I haven't been told to be quiet. So I have a daughter, and then I have a son, and then I have a daughter, and then my youngest is transitioning from she, her to he, him.
Well, it's. I just think our culture, once it opened that door. My partner, Ariel, has a granddaughter who was her grandson. And from when she was little, as a he, loved mom's shoes, playing in mom's closet, wanted to wear dresses to school, the whole thing. And our society now, with all that's going on, is even more crazy. I don't really understand why anyone would care about someone's choice. I recognize in sports, because as a male, when I'm in a sport against a female, I can imagine, I would think that I'd have an advantage. So I understand that question about different sports. I'm not really sure how to solve that problem.
Right. I guess I can kind of see how that area is going to need further exploration.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's so unimportant. Competition is, I think, overrated. We need community. We need to learn to work together.
I'm with you.
And we can solve any problem if we're working together.
See, aren't we lucky we're on this island? Because if we all hold hands, we can do it all here.
Yes.
We don't need to think about what's out of here. We have it all right here.
Yeah.
That's a great thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Community is something, we all these years keep going by. I keep seeing that we keep saying the same things. It's just amazing. It takes a long time sometimes.
It does.
to
We're a
make
big,
change.
yeah. I always tell my kids, I was like, being human is a messy state of affairs, but it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. And I think that's government, our politics, they're messy. And I know people have gotten disillusioned, but I think that this is a time of great groundbreaking, and I don't think I can hold space for anything other than us building something beautiful in this mess that's being made right now, because anything else is just not livable, not sustainable for human life and well-being.
It would be giving up,
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, like when I see people coming out to stand up, well, where are the rest of the people? They're either afraid to be seen out and be having some kind of an expression that's against this regime for fear of retaliation.
I'd like to say something about that.
Please.
Okay. My grandparents were so right-wing that the right wing wasn't right-wing enough for them. And they started their own party that was even more right-wing conservative in Oregon. And they had, that's all that they frothed. They pounded the table and were angry every night at dinner, and everybody was so angry. And I was part of these. I was part of that family and the politics and going out to political meetings and political activism, and I was terrified to go out to the last protest. It took everything I had to go out there, and my youngest, I was like, I'm not dragging any of my kids into that with what I was raised in. I was like, you guys can come or stay home, but I'm going, and because of the hate and fear, like we'd go to these things, and I mean, these people are trying to one up each other in their own party. Like I'm more Christian and more angry and more Republican than you. Like there's all of this gnarly posturing and competitiveness within those experiences that I had when I was a kid, and my stomach was tied in knots, and I showed up in front of the store that where the protest was, and Natalie, my youngest, is like, Mom, we know most of the people here. I had to laugh because I was like, and everybody was so nice.
I was there too, and I thought it was just a really beautiful experience.
Yeah.
I didn't really see anyone protesting it.
There was a couple of people that drove by flipping the bird, and then there was the Trump truck.
Oh,
The Tesla truck covered in Trump flags, and he made a couple of passes by. But there was so many people supportive and waving and honking, and
thousands.
Yes, thousands of people there and driving by, doing multiple loops in their,
exuberance.
Yes, yeah, and so it was not at all like the hate and fear fueled anger that I was raised in, and. So, it was really good to be there. And that makes me hopeful for the future and for being able to build something. And the question I would like to pose to the audience, to whoever hears this, the question that was posed to me when I was there. Okay, we're standing here, but is this going to make any change? And what do we do next? I guess that's two questions. So, I'd like to ask everybody, and I'm on social media, Jeanne Bitz Art, and then with your social media presence, and for the next gathering, what do we do next? How do we build? And just asking that question. I told my kids this all the time too. Anybody can find problems, and that's the thing with the negative. I've heard so many people that don't want to talk about the negative, or want to send hopes and prayers, or want to meditate on it. And meditation's amazing, but we need action also. And so, what is that action? And I think that anybody can find problems, and I told my kids this all the time. Anybody can be a problem finder. It takes somebody special and skilled to be part of the solution, and it.
Right, get through that problem.
Yeah.
That's what we try to do here.
Yeah.
The neutral zone. Now that we've established we have some goal of something that we don't feel comfortable, let's bring solutions into the picture. And also we don't have to stigmatize or cast out those that may not have been doing. No. Let's show them a different and better way. I
read Nelson Mandela's book, The Long Walk to Freedom. That has an amazing foundation for how to build with people. That's something else that's happening, is the polarization and the separation. And I hear people on the left side of things talking just as militantly as people on the extreme right. And that's not how we move forward. We can't be there. We have to be in this unified place. And then that movie, Best of Enemies, have you seen that one?
No.
Oh my gosh, you've got to watch it. It's about a Ku Klux Klan leader.
Oh, I heard about that.
The black community activist leader who have to work together, and they become best friends. It's a true story.
That's a great thing.
And that's what we need. We can't dehumanize people on either side. And for anybody, like when I was born into that ignorance and hate and fear-fueled environment, it wasn't people screaming at me that changed my mind. It was my friends who were like, when I would spew the ignorance or the hate that I was raised in, they're like, Jeanne, maybe consider this perspective over here. I was given, with people who loved me, a pathway to consider other options, and people who have been participating in a mindset their entire lives and were born and raised in that, they need to have a way to move forward. Gravity isn't going to quit working on people who think differently. So we have to learn we have to find that problem solving and that solution and that working together, and that middle I don't know about middle ground, because some of this stuff is not going to be middle. It's going to be communicating with love for a shift in perspective.
Yeah. I mean, these are unprecedented times.
Yeah.
But your perspective, like mine, is don't cast someone away as an enemy.
No.
See if we can create this ground where if you care about me and I care about you, why would I want to do this that might hurt you?
Yeah. Yeah. So a demographic that's talked about a lot in the news right now is the patriarchy, and a primary demographic in that is the white male. And something that I've read about, like the first mutilation that men are taught is to not feel and to not be okay with that sensitive emotional part of themselves. And how can that be healed? Like, how can that be, again, that's something that I was angry at for a long time, because I was raised in such domestic violence and sexual assault. That was my experience for the first many years of my life.
Was your mother there too?
Yeah, my mother was.
How'd she deal with that
beaten
all?
to a bloody pulp. Some of my earliest memories are hearing my mother's body hit the floor, my dad beating the living daylights out of her, my dad screaming in anger because he married her. How can it be rape when he's broken into the house and raped her? And that's the stuff that I was raised with. That's my everything that I knew in my environment. So when I'm talking about the anger that's been dissipated in me, I was taught by my dad that I was worth nothing more than I don't have a lot of nice words to put on,
right.
But I was really raised to be worthless.
Wow.
So I had a lot of anger that I had to dissipate. And so when people are angry about what's going on, I totally get it, because when I started to value myself at all, I became angry at the entire foundation that I was taught that I was not valuable. And so when I'm talking about finding ways to work with people and not ostracizing them, I'm coming from a place of knowing what it's like to be absolutely decimated by this mindset.
Wow. And, when I hear stories like yours, I grew up, I had my own, I want to call it domestic violence. When I did something, my father would punch me. That was pretty radical. And, over time it got harder, but I was kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Not happy about it.
Yeah.
But we grow out of things that weren't really, I don't know if they weren't socially, that's a funny thing to say about my father. That wasn't normal, but I knew how to egg him on with my statements and comments that may or may not agree with him, but his method was violence.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he learned it from his father.
Exactly, yeah.
So we are role models for those around us.
Yeah.
So now you have beautiful kids that are conscious and that are working to make this a better place for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great legacy.
Yeah.
Never mind anything else. That's a great legacy.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll be an example just like you are an example.
Yes, they're part of breaking the chain of historical violence.
You've been doing painting for a long time?
I think, I've been doing art since I was little tiny. That was my escape from a horrific environment. And then I took my first oil painting class when I was 17. And I've been painting, so art funded my escape from an abusive marriage. And so I started that because I wasn't allowed to buy just basic stuff for my kids in this abusive marriage. And so in 2004, I decided to start trying to sell my art so that I could afford just basic things for my kids. And it funded my segue out of that.
Wow, that's great.
So,
you're not only an artist, but successful commercially to be able to support your life and continue. That's that by itself is a great thing.
Yeah. If the economy doesn't totally crash, I've been able to support my family,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When I hear your name and my memory just keeps going because, like you say, you've seen me around a lot of years. I've heard your name also.
I was Jeanne Young, and during during the years that we were kind of locked inside, which was my ideal, painting a lot and paddling in bubbles and nobody touching me, which was, again, my ideal. I did the paperwork to get my name changed. So I was Jeannie Young for a while, and now Jeanne Bitz.
But your art, I mean, I know I've seen your name, so that's good. We're going to hopefully, this will bring it up. By the way, I have to let everyone know, we are on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, and Akaku, Maui Community TV, akaku.org. You can also go and there's an app on your phone, whether Google side, I guess it's now Android or Mac, and that's Maui Stream, where they have all 3 TV stations, or media stations, and radio, so that's a great thing to have on your phone. Then you can listen to all of us anytime. Also, MauiNeutralZone.com and YouTube at Dream Maui and #1. I've, over these, I started here in 2018 in June, and this was originally going to be a political show, but it meant that I had to interview everyone. I was doing all those 15 election cycles, but on radio, I was going to do them here. But then I'd have to have everyone that was running, give them equal time, and if they didn't come here, it would take time on the TV, and so I changed it to values, which was fine. Yeah. Which is more like, I really like talking about things, good or bad, but coming out with something that we can do to make it better. Yeah. Like you said, if we work together, we can do it all. Yeah. Isn't that a great thing?
Yes. Thank you for holding that space for those conversations to be had here.
And it's nice to hear that you hooked up, however that be, with Kimo Keo. I've known him a long time. In fact, God, this first year I got here, I met him, and we've been friends for a long time. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
And he has brought canoeing, among other things, to the world.
Yeah, I just applied for an artist program that is an exchange between Japan. And Kimokeo wrote me a letter of recommendation for it. So because he's got a halau over there and paddling clubs and and doing the same work to bring awareness to caring for our environment and the importance of protecting our connection to nature and culture is over there.
Well, it's great that I like every time I hear Hawaiian and non-Hawaiian working together, it uplifts me. Yeah. Because sometimes I find that Hawaiian people have felt so bruised by the treatment of this whole place, and they're still alive. It was only 1959 we became a state, and we know all these things about the language being suppressed and all kinds of things, and culture not being elevated. When I got here in 1988, I was told, you should have been here when Maui was beautiful. And I didn't really understand it because it's still beautiful. It's still beautiful. Yeah. But over time, this has developed. It looks more and more like city.
If you start to think about what's been done to the Hawaiian culture through the lens of domestic violence, and then people coming and just taking and taking and taking, like in a domestic violence marriage, it's no wonder people are angry.
Yeah. No wonder they're angry.
Yeah.
But to me, I just would hope that Hawaiians, if you're out there, I'm sure you are, we're building our audience.
Yeah.
Recognize that a lot of people love and respect you as a culture and would love to help assist in giving you the platform to be able to share with the world in a way that feels good to you.
And the wisdom that's been kept alive in that culture is what our world needs right now, desperately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I was just looking up. I keep looking up this way only because I am notorious for running over.
You asked if I could talk for an hour.
Can you believe we only have 2 minutes left? Right? Isn't that amazing? Sometimes I have people that come on that literally, I have to.
Oh, man.
pull.
I'm sure my kids are so happy that I'm here with you instead of at home with them talking about all this stuff.
Well, I think it's really, it's a pleasure and an honor
Yeah.
to sit
Thank
with
you.
someone that is truly showing through their work their dedication to making this a better world.
Thank you. And thank you again for creating the space for me to come and share that, and for holding the door open, like I said, for the change to happen.
Well, because we have such little time, let's make sure we know how to get them to you. Okay. Where's your gallery? Do you have an address, or you don't want to even tell them now?
I don't know the address yet.
At the corner
Hallowed
of
Home
Market and Main,
yes,
in Wailuku.
Right next door to Taryn Alessandro's studio. She's got a good sign out front, and mine's coming.
Right there on the corner. I remember that space.
Right across from Native Intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that used to be the bookstore. It's a pretty good-sized space, right?
Yes.
It used to be
I have a beautiful studio back there.
I know.
I'm so excited.
What a great space.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm hoping to begin teaching also. So I'm going to start with a weekend workshop a month. So if anybody wants to come, I've had lots of people asking.
Oh, good.
So.
Well, you're going to see me sneaking my head in for sure.
Awesome. I can't wait.
I'm going to find our closing credits. It really has been a pleasure. I don't even know what to say. It unexpected, and this is a great addition to, I want to say, we're sort of like the memorial, I don't know if that's the right word, for all the people that have so much to give, that want a platform to get it out there and share and bring things up in the world.
Thank you for that.
We only have 37 seconds. You've been a terrific guest, Jeannie.
Thank you so
for
much for
joining
having
me
me
here.
My pleasure.
May all of you have a beautiful week and come back next week. Let's see what we're doing then. It's been a pleasure, Jeannie. I look forward to getting to know you even more and more here over time.
Me too.
Blessings to you, and blessings to you guys. Come back next week. Get up there on the net and find us, and however you do, and we're going to do good things together, all of us.
Aloha.
Aloha. There's our music coming on. Take care, everyone.